Hi guys, and welcome to this session on how to create a custom application in Salesforce by Intellipaat. So Salesforce is one of the best CRMs in the world right now, and it has a lot of different job openings across various different domains. You could be an Salesforce developer, you could be an app builder, you could be admin, you could be a Salesforce marketing cloud executive, you could be a Salesforce architect. So a lot of different things that you can do with respect to Salesforce. That's why we have decided to come up with this session to teach you how you can create your own application in Salesforce. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. Also guys, if you do find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Now, let's talk about today's agenda. Today's agenda is fourfold and pretty straightforward. So we'll be starting off with a brief introduction on what is Salesforce, and in there we'll be covering what is an application in Salesforce. So we'll be talking about what we are going to be building. So what is this thing which is called as an application inside of Salesforce. From there, we'll move on and talk about what are the basic concepts that you will be requiring in order to build that app in Salesforce. So there we'll be discussing the concepts which are required for our session today. So whatever we are going to be building, what are the concepts behind those? So we'll be covering that in the second sections. And once we have that, we will move on and build the Salesforce application. And with the concepts that we had just learned, so we'll try to build an application based on that, very simple, very quickly in there. And once we are done with that, we'll move on and talk about in the further learning section how you can go about exploring more about Salesforce or any other technological facts for that matter. Other than that, guys, we are also having a live webinar session right now. So post this session on YouTube where we cover all of these. We will be having a Q&A session on our webinar. There we will be taking all of your doubts, one-on-one doubts based on your resume or any other doubts that you have. We will be taking there on the webinar. So if you're interested, you can join there and ask your questions there itself. So that is about the agenda, guys. I hope that is very clear to you. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. So what is an application in Salesforce? So in order to understand what is an application in Salesforce, let's try to understand what is Salesforce first. And once we establish what is Salesforce, it will be much more clearer what the application basically is. So in general, Salesforce is a CRM or a customer relationship management solution that brings the companies and the customers together, right? So it is one integrated CRM platform that gives you all of your departments such as marketing, sales, commerce, and services and your customers in one shared view. So you can see all of that with respect to one customer in a shared view. So what does Salesforce basically do? So let me give you a few examples to make things more clearer. So what it means by sales department. So let's take example of Intellipaat itself. So we are an organization that provide our learners with different courses and help on different technologies that are out there in the world. So let's say if we have a sales team, we will start from the scratch. So it starts from the lead generation. So we have a lot of different prospective customers who would be coming to us. So yeah, we want to buy a course. What are the course options that you have? What are the level of depths of different courses which are out there? So that guy who comes to us becomes a possible lead, right? So this is a possible customer that we can get. Now our sales teams basically talk to them about the different courses out there and they answer the different questions and what are the benefits that we offer, and all of that is done. So for that, for my sales team, what I can do through Salesforce is send them a reminder, okay, 4 days to close the sale, and we can classify the different leads. So there are some different kinds of customers are there, right? Some customers are almost sold, like they actually want to buy the course with us because they are so impressed with our YouTube videos and everything. But there are some customers who are on the edge. So you can classify the leads based on that. So there are hot leads and there are basically leads which are not on the like the brighter side of the end. So you can classify those leads and you can have reporting based on that. Now you can inform your sales teams as well, like, okay, you have 5 days to close the sale, and then based on that you can input information with respect to whether the sales was closed or not, what was the amount of sales which was done, and different things like that. You can also, what you can do is you can basically track how your marketing campaigns are going. So every company which is out there who is doing marketing, and marketing can be done in a lot of different kinds of forms. There is email blasts which companies do, like companies like Flipkart, Swiggy, Amazon. They would send you emails every single day about the different offers which are out there, or about different products which are out there. So that is the email marketing campaign. There are TV advertisements, there are billboards, there are a lot of different things. So you can see the impact of these things on your sales directly, and you can find how your marketing campaign is doing in terms of spreading the word about your particular organization. So you can manage that as well. What you can do with in terms of managing your relationship with customer is, let's say if I have a customer which I have just recently sold a course to. Now, as a rule of thumb at Intellipaat, we do constant checkups with our customers to find out if everything is to their satisfaction or not, if the customer is facing any problems or not. So let's say if we have to reach out to every customer post 5 days of the sale, so how would our team, so we have a lot of customers, right? So how would the team know which customers they have to contact to? So through Salesforce application you can get reminders on, okay, this customer hasn't been spoken to since the sale, so it's been 5 days now, you have to speak to him and find out if the learning manager is working for him, if he's facing any problems, if he has doubts, if he's well versed with the platform itself and everything. So you can do that also on Salesforce. So it basically, Salesforce is something which is designed to improve the overall productivity of your company as well as manage the customer organization relationships. So it is supposed to do both those things. It can help you do reports, generate reports, graphs, a different kind of charts, and you can basically analyze what is going on with respect to sales and leads and customers. So all of those things are taken care by the Salesforce application itself. So that is basically what Salesforce does. So basically it is supposed to give you insights on how your sales are going, how your customers are, and what is to maintain the relationships with them, as well as you can have a more productive environment. So the basic goal of this is to improve the performance of the entire organization. So what is this Salesforce application? Now, Salesforce application is a collection of items that work together to serve a particular function, right? So what do I mean by that? So let's say if I have an application for sales itself, so what are the different things with that will impact my sales? So there would be opportunities, there will be customers, there will be accounts, there will be cases, there will be leads. There's a lot of different things, right? So what it basically, an application is that environment where you can populate all of these fields, and based on that you can have different things popping up here and there, and you can find out what is going on with respect to one particular thing on one particular application itself. So that is the basic idea behind an application in Salesforce. Now it basically comes in two flavors for Salesforce. So it could be a classic app or it could be a lightning app. So there are lightning ones are the one we are going to be working with today. So lightning is the better form. It is constantly updated as well on your phone as well as your desktop system. So it is compatible in both iOS as well as Android as well as your desktop or any platform that you are using. So it is cross-platform available as well. So that is something which gives it an edge over classic, and it is much more intuitive as well in my opinion. So that is why the lightning app is much more preferred. To give you an example of how classic app looks like, so let me show you the Salesforce itself. So what you're seeing right now on your screen is an application. So this is my sales application. So whatever name pops up here, that is the name of the application, and this is the home page that we are seeing with respect to the sales application. Now there are different things like opportunities, leads, tasks. These are the different fields which are inside of this application that I want to see. So these are the things which are populated in here. So all of this combination of all of this is my sales application. Similarly, there are various other applications. As you can see, there is sales console, there is community. You can view all as well. So if you view all, there is a lot of different applications which are out there. So let's say if I wanted to check on the marketing side of things, so I can see different things will pop up as compared to this application. So you see now it has changed into campaigns, chatter, contacts, leads. So basically it changes based on that. Now what you can do is you can customize all of these applications, and you can have your built-in make a built-in custom application. So we had created a built-in custom application before itself, and we'll be creating one more today. So let's go back to presentation and move ahead and understand more. So that is about what an application is. So this is again just the overview of what things are. So you can see that is sales opportunities and whatever you are saying. So this is the home page where you can see different things with respect to quarterly performance, today's events, and all of that in one place. So what you are seeing here, it is a page. This is a home page which has been designed. This can be objects and pages. Both of those things can be populated on an application as well. So we'll be discussing that as we get through. Let's talk about few more basic concepts to get things across. So we are now going to get closer to building the Salesforce application that we are going to be developing in the third section. But in this one, let's discuss those concepts that we'll be dealing with. So let's start off with an objects and fields. Now, an object and field is very important. So in Salesforce, they follow the methodology of MVC, which is Model View Controller. So in that, you have three different kinds of things which are in there. So basically, you can think of objects and fields in terms of an Excel sheet. Now, what is going on is, let me explain what is going on first. So imagine that you have a database, right? So your database can have a lot of different kinds of tables, right? So there will be a lot of different tables which are there. For example, let's say if I wanted to create let's say school database, for example. So a school database will have a table for students, There will be student for there will be a table for courses, there will be a table for teachers, there will be the table for other faculty members, parents, and stuff like that, right? So collection of all of these tables which are out there is what basically my database is. Now let's think that each of these tables are my Excel sheet. So I have an Excel sheet where I have a list of students. I have an Excel sheet where I have a list of the parents and different other attributes like that. So, right. So these are the things which are there. So a collection of all of these Excel sheets is my database. Now each sheet in this database represents something, right? So let's say if one of the sheets is named as student. Now in this student sheet which is out there, so you can imagine this sheet which is on the bottom side of the screen right now, this is the student sheet. So in this student sheet, what is going on is let's just think of it like this. So each of the columns which are out there, so the things which are highlighted in pink, this is called as fields. Now fields are basically the properties of the particular sheet. So my sheet is called as students. Now students can have a name, a registration ID, a phone number, parent's name, and different things like that you can populate. So each of these things which will be populated in the field section will be the different properties with respect to this sheet, right? So this sheet is basically called as an object inside of Salesforce. So this sheet, which is my student, is an object, and the different properties of students are the fields in Salesforce. So these student's name is one field, student's phone number is a field, email address is a field, and things as we go along will follow. And every entry that you do, so let's say if the student's name is let's say Ram, his number is XYZ, and he studies in class X, and you can move along. So that is one entry. So this is a record of a student. Similarly, if you go along, so you can put in more records. So each of these lines will contain records. So this column represents different properties, and the rows will represent different records of different students who have those particular properties in those fields, and all of it together, this particular sheet can be thought of as an object. So an object has a lot of different properties which are called as fields, and when you have a lot of different entries inside of a different object, those are called as records. So that is the basic idea of what are objects and fields in Salesforce. Now you can have two different kinds of objects in Salesforce. There are some objects which Salesforce gives you by default. So by default, Salesforce provides you with a lot of different objects which are out there. So a good example would be like an account or lead. So the things that we saw earlier. So that are the things which are pre-created. So you can see the opportunities here and the leads and the other things. These are the things which are pre-created by Salesforce. So these objects are standard objects. The other kind of objects are custom objects. These are the objects that you build by yourself. So you can build your own custom objects. So as you can see, if I wanted to create, let's say, an object called as trucks, so I can create an object called trucks, and I can have information with respect to trucks in there. So it basically depends on you. So what Salesforce is doing is, in this scenario, is it is giving you one set of abilities to you, which is predefined, which can be basically applied to various different kinds of companies. But let's say if I'm a logistics company and I want to use Salesforce, and there are some things which are not defined in Salesforce because they cannot think of everything, right? Every business runs it according to their requirements and based on their needs. When you are running things on your needs, you will be requiring custom made things. For that scenario, Salesforce allows you to do a lot of different customization with respect to their application as well. So you can basically create your own objects, give them special properties, and you can assign values to those special properties. So that is what a custom object is. We will be building a custom object in today's session as well, and we'll be putting that to our particular application, which we will be also be developing. The next concept, which is very important, is a lightning page. So what is a lightning page? Lightning page is basically a custom layout that lets you design a page for use in Salesforce mobile app, or it could be on the Lightning web browser experience as well. So it is available on both mobile platform as well as your particular desktop application. Right. So the structure of Lightning page, the speciality of this thing is that it adapts to whatever the screen that it is being viewed on. So if I want to, this we will see when we get into it. So if you want to design let's say a page, how it will spawn on your mobile phone and how it will spawn on your particular laptop is different, right? So and Salesforce predefines it based on some templates on how those things can be spawning. So you can design based on that, and based on that you can have easy views for your phone and a different view for your particular desktop application. So you can imagine your desktop has a wider screen and wider set of resources. So it can do a lot of different things and populate different things in there. When you're designing for a phone, you have to take constraints into account where the screen will be shorter. What you would want is the things which are most important popping up here in that, and Salesforce allows you to do all of that. So based on the template that you choose, you can basically get the outcome of how the page will look like, right? So we will be creating an app page for our particular application. So there are three different kinds of pages in Salesforce as well. So when you're talking about landing pages in applications, you can have a home page, a record page, and an application page. Now home page is what we saw, that sales home page was there, right? So there, everything with respect to the sales application you can find out in the home page. Other than that, you can have an application page where you can spawn different things with respect to an application. You can use this page to create a home page for a third party application, and you can directly add those things into your Salesforce Lightning web application as well as your mobile application. Both of these things you can directly add these pages without having any ifs and buts. Other than that, you can decide who gets to view what kind of pages and what kind of access is there, and where you can they can access these objects. You can handle that as well. So that is about what is in the app page. We will be developing an app page and an object, and we'll be putting both of them to our Lightning application in the demo. So let's quickly jump into the demo so that we get things more clearer. So this is my Salesforce application, right? So in this Salesforce application, what you can see is this is my home page, right? So from here you can go to setup. So this is my Salesforce Lightning application, which is for marketing, and this one is my setup where I can basically customize my Salesforce Lightning applications. So whatever is in here, whatever you want to manipulate, you can do through the setup page, and it allows you to do different things. And you can find the setup right here itself. You can just go here, click, and quick click on setup, and it will spawn the page that you actually need. So let it load so that you can get a view of it. So let's start creating an application first, or we can create an object also first. So let's create an object first. So let's create an object. Very simple. You have to click on new object, go to your object manager, click on new object, wait for a couple of seconds, and you have to put these information. So let's say I'm going to call my object as learner Intelli, right? So you have to give the label, and the plural label you have to provide. Object name it takes automatically. So if I click here, you can see the object name has automatically spawns. Learners Intelli is the plural name. Now basically this object gives information for a learner enrolled with Intellipaat, right? So it does that. Now you can have it being a context sensitive help settings. You can put that as well. You have a record name, and this is the type text it will be taking. Optional features, you can allow reporting activities, track field history, chatter groups. You can decide on these things as well. So if you wanted to pop up in chatter groups, or you want to track field history, you can enable these features based on your requirements. And you can choose your deployment status as well. So you can have it in development. So these things which are in development won't spawn into the Salesforce application. People won't be able to view it. Once you have deployed it, the people who have the access to these things can actually view it. You can also allow search for it. You can have the launch custom tab app after the wizards for saving the object. We are not going to be doing this. We will do it later on so that you understand why this is important. And I'm going to be allowing the search for it, and just gonna hit save. So with that, I think very easily we can move on to the next step, and we have created an object. Now object is ready, right? So object is ready. What it doesn't have is any properties. So it's like basically having a sheet called as students, and there is no kind of entry whatsoever, no properties whatsoever. So there is no information with respect to the students. So let's go to field and relationships, and let's give it a property. So by default it will be asking you for a name when you create this thing. So we're going to be creating a new field, which is going to be, from this section you can choose what kind of information this object will store, right? So every column which is there, it stores certain kind of an information. So what kind of information you want to store, you can decide there. It has to be a date, number, currency, percentage, phone number, pick list. Pick list is basically when you want to give them options to choose from. You can have that, and you can have multi-select as well. You can have a text area. You can have basically different things based on that. So I'm going to be selecting a text that people can put in the resource things. So I'm going to be going next, and the field name is course enrolled. So my learner object will have a name, so learner's name, and the course field, let's allow number of characters for this field. So I'm going to be putting it as 17. So it could be according to your requirements. So if you are someone who's taking long strings into account, so you can put those numbers up, but we are going to be keeping short, so we're going to be putting it 17. So this field stores the course learner is enrolled in. You can provide help text to people to understand so what is supposed to be filled in with respect to this field. We're going to not be doing that because we know what we're doing too. And you can select this as always required. So when you do that, whenever you are creating a new record for this particular field, if let's say if I'm creating a new entry for the objects, if I'm creating let's say a new student and I keep this as required, so the entire column won't be saved until and unless you provide this information, right? So this is what required does. And you can have it as unique also. You basically unique will take only one kind of information. You cannot have duplicates, but since course enrolled can be duplicates, we're going to be leaving this one. You can keep an external ID and you can give a default value as well, so we're not going to be bothering with that. And in this one you can basically assign this is the field security level. So whenever let's say if I have an object called as customers, now customers can have information which are sensitive like phone numbers or bank account IDs or anything like that. So that is not what you want to share with everyone, right? So when you want to hide some kind of information, you have to assign who are the people who are able to view these things. Now I don't want to make changes anywhere because nobody else is using it apart from me. But whenever you are in an industry environment, you will have to choose who are the people who are allowed to see these things, and based on that you have to select. For now, we're going to be keeping it as default so that everyone can see these things because course name is not that sensitive of an information. Now, the learner Intelli layout has been done. So let's quickly course enrolled for learner Intelli has been done. So learner Intelli is our object. So we've created one field. We're going to be creating one more field, and I'm going to take this time the number as the field. Let's move forward, and the field name we're going to be writing it as batch ID. So for the learners, what we are trying to take the information is the course that they are enrolled in and the batch of that batch ID of that course. So you can have the length defined as well. So you're going to be keeping it default, which is 18th, and you can set this to always require as well. So we will not be taking any different things with respect to that. So that is very important. You can define the decimal places that it will be taking. So all of this information with respect to what the field information can take, so you can customize that based on your requirements. Click next. Again the same thing, the security field is spawning, so we're going to be keeping it default, pretty standard. And with that I think our object is ready. Yeah, so if you want to check out your object, you can quickly go to the object manager and it spawns all of the different apps, and you can see what are the different objects which are out there. So you can see this, these are the standard objects which are predefined by Salesforce. And whenever you find the learner Intelli, that is learner Intelli is a custom object, right? So it tells you what are the information. So we have just created a custom object which is called as learner Intelli. Now our custom object is ready. The next thing that we need to do is we need to create an application first, and then we'll add an app page. So let's create an application. To create an application in Salesforce, you have to search App Manager. So in App Manager, just quickly go here and select for a new Lightning app. So you can see in here the pre-created applications and their type. As I told you, it comes in two flavors. So if it is Lightning or it is in Classic, you can see these things which are available. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a new application. My application will be called, let's say we'll call it as learner view. We're going to be calling this application as learner view, and this application is for insights WRT learner. So with respect to learner, what are the things that is required? We are going to be populating this. In this section, you have to also put in an app branding. Basically, in app branding, you can design what kind of image that it requires and what is the different things that can come. So you can have different images based on that. I'm going to be uploading something which I have on my desktop saved, which is a home page, which is basically a very simple image. So this is the image that is there for my app branding. You can see the graphs and plots which I have created. And primary hex value is something, as you can see in the background, you can see, if you can see here on the left hand side, you can see this blue line. This is what is there. So you can see everywhere it is blue. So this is the primary color that you have to choose for your application. I'm going to be going with green, and you can choose what shade of green also. Based on that, it will take the RGB hex value. So I'm going for a pretty green in here and do done, and then click next. Now The next thing which is there is you have to choose the navigation style. So since we are going with the standard navigation here, not the console, because console is sometimes paid, we are going for the standard navigation, and you can support the form factor. So basically, if this application will be supported on only on desktop, only on phone, or both desktop and phone. For our purposes, we are using both desktop and phone in here, and that is that. And you can have these settings also set up, and my setup experience, I want it to be full setup and it is not a service. So that is that. And let's quickly move on to the next one. Next is the utility items. So utility items are the things which spawn on the bottom left hand side of the screen. So we'll see that once we create this application. So you can add different kinds of utility applications. So we're going to be adding a rich text so that we see what is out there. So let's select one. So you can basically type out what you want in this one. So I'm going to be putting in welcome to the Intellipaat learner application, right? So we can have that, and you can add more. So we have added one, we'll add another utility item just in case. So you can have a macro, or you can have a flow. Flow is basically how your screen flow will be happening, or different things, that set of applications will be happening. You can have that. You can have a list view, you can have something. So we're going to be putting in recent items as well. So two things which are out there, and rich text and the recent items. These are the two things that I want in my application. So let's quickly move on to the next. Now in the navigation items, so what we saw here, so this is an application right here, right? So on the left hand side. So in what navigation means is whatever you are seeing in here is selected through the navigation. You can basically come back and edit these as well. And for now, so what we're going to be doing is we're gonna take a default thing so that it gets more clearer to us. So let's take opportunities, if it is out there. Yeah, let's take opportunities and just put it in there, just for fun purposes. We basically do not need it right now. So we're going to be spawning only one thing, and we're going to click next. And now this is an important one. You have to select who are the people who can view this application. Not everyone will be able to view this application. Since I'm the system administrator, I'm going to be giving myself only the privileges of viewing this application and no one else. So I'm going to be putting in here so that I can see this application. I'm going to put save and finish. As soon as I do that, my application is ready, and you can find that application as the name which we had learner view, the application. So it is right here, which has been created, right? So to check if learner view is created, let's quickly go to here. This is the place where you search for application, these dots in here. Just quickly search for learner. So you can see my image which I created for the branding as well is present. So quickly go to the learner view and see what is out there. So you can see the green which I chose for the hex value is here. This is the name of the application. This is the only navigation that we spawned. So you can see the recently viewed opportunities which are out there, and the utility items that we selected, which is the recent items, which is in here, which has been nothing so far. And then there is a rich text. So welcome to the Intellipaat learner application. So you can have that, implement more things like those. So these are the utility things. So we have basically created an application with one thing. Now let's customize this application a little bit more by adding a page and the object that we created, right? So we created an object. So if you remember, if we go to app manager again and we try to edit this particular learner view, you can see there is this one thing missing, which is the object that we created. The object which we created, which goes by the name I think learner Intelli, that will not be available in the navigation items. That is because we have not created a custom tab for it, right? Let me search learner. You can see this is not available right now. That is simply because we have so far not created basically and custom tab for it. So there's no tab view for it, and that is why that is not spawning. So let's quickly do that as well. So I'm going to be doing that side by side so you can see what is going on. So let's quickly search for tabs in here in quick find. Let's quickly search for tabs. Now go to tabs. In tabs, basically you have to go down and you have to create a new one. So you have to create a new custom tab. So just click on the new one. So here you have to select the object that you want to create a tab for. So our object's name is learner Intelli. You can select the tab style. So there's a lot of different things that you can choose from. That will basically be the thing which is in front of that tab style. So since this is about learners, we're choosing people in here, and you can have custom tabs. So learners information, right? So that is there. So let's quickly click next, and these are again those security things. So you can add the profiles who are going to be able to see it, but we are keeping the default settings so that we can get through with this. and again which all applications you want to add it to. So you can see by default it is added to learner view. So if you see now, if we see now to learner view, only opportunities is there, right? Let me now let's quickly save this. So what it will do is it will add it to all of the pages which are out there. You can basically, when you are doing this, select the custom pages you want to add it to, but for now it's just going to be saving it. So once we do that and it is ready, my learners, this thing, if I refresh, the learner view should pop up in navigation. So let's go to the navigation items, and you can see the learner Intellis has been spawned. So since it is spawned, if I refresh this page, I should see another tab in here. You can see the learners Intelli tab is available, and you can create an object in here, go to new, and you can add let's say learner's name is Ram, the course he's enrolled in is Salesforce, and batch ID is 1234. If I save that, you can see details of that learner you can see in here. So basically if I add more and more and more, I can have all the learners which are spawning and put them in here really quickly and very easily. So that is the basic thing of the objects that we have created. Now let's add one more thing to it. Let's add an application page to this one. So let's go back to the setup real quickly and go to and search for app builder. So if you go to Lightning app builder, it's basically we need to create a new page. So let's click on new. So as I mentioned in the theoretical side of things, you can create 3 different kinds of pages. For now, for my purpose, I'm going to be creating an app page. So let's quickly select that, move on to the next one. You have to select a label's name. So this is learners app page. I think it goes with an underscore. It looks better. Yeah. Now what you can select in the next one is the view. So as I told you, the Salesforce Lightning applications, it spawns and adapts both for your PC as well as your mobile phones of different sizes and tablets of different sizes. So you can see if the tablet is in this section, it will look 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 like this. If it is straight, 1, 2, 3 on the phone, and 1, 2, 3. You can choose different settings based on this. The applications will be spawning. So different views that you can get from here. So I'm going to be choosing standard one again. One header, a left sidebar, or I'll go with header in 2 regions. Let's quickly divide it easily. So header in 2 regions we're going to be selecting. We're going to click on next. Now I have basically a layout where we can add applications. So it doesn't mean we can only add 3 components. We can add more than 3 components, but just thing is you can add it in here or here. The way that they'll be spawning is based on the layout that you have selected. So let's quickly put a rich text on top. This is learners page. So this is the learners page that we are creating. So that is that. We can have basically anything that you want in here. We can populate let's say recent items in here on the left hand side, reports and charts on the right hand side, and you can have, let's say if you wanted to have a chatter field, you can put it in here on the left hand side. So you can spawn more than 1 items. You can customize these things as well. So whatever is be spawning here, you can add a filter, you can add field types, so for what it has to be done, and you can create what you want report for. So you can select different kinds of reports in here. You can populate all of that, and you can add and filter based on that. So whatever is based on your filter, you can view those things only particularly in this particular page. So that is the basic idea behind these things as well. So you can add a filter for this as well. We're not going to be doing that. We're just going ahead with this one. So you can activate this page, or you can choose not to activate this page as well. So I'm going to be activating this page. So if this is in development environment, you would not want to activate it right away. You'd want to wait, but since we are not concerned with that one right now, we're going to be activating this page. So it will going to be asking a few questions. So page settings, Lightning experience, and mobile app navigation, 3 different things. So you can add different page setups that you want. I just want it to be activated for all my users, and these things have been done. So I'm going to be quickly saving it with default configurations. Until you add it, it won't be spawning anywhere, right? So that is what this page is saying. So what it basically means is I have created, so like I did for objects and it was spawning, it will not happen for this one because it is not there in the navigation items yet. So for that, what we have to do is we have to go back to our setup, search for our app manager again, and in my app manager I have to be searching for the learner view application which we created. Click edit, and then go to navigation items, And in here, the page that we created, which was our learners application page, which is right here, I'm going to be selecting that and putting it in here. Sorry. So with that, if I hit save and I refresh this page, I should be able to see my new page, which is out there. So the page, as you can see, objects will have a drop down menu like this. So you can see all the learners or all the opportunities which are out there. And in page, you can see different things that you put with respect to what is there. So the recent item is 0, chatter feed. We have not populated these things. That's why these things are not being done. So if you do all of that, you'd be able to see these things, and these things will be generated automatically based on that. So that is what basically you can do in order to build an application in Salesforce. So with that, we have come to the end of the demo section. So let's quickly go back to our presentation and finish this live session. So we at Intellipaat, we always understand that an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. That's why we produce a lot of free content. So the one that you just saw now is again a free content that is available to you on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe and like us if you found this video helpful. Other than that, we have a lot of free blogs also available. So if you are an avid reader and want to read about different technologies, go check out our blogs. And if you are someone who wants to watch video tutorials, we have long tutorials up to 8 hours, 9 hours on different technologies where you can learn. And we also have a community where you can come and ask your questions. So if you get stuck anywhere in some form of coding, you can come and ask us there, and we'll be happy to assist you there as well. And also, if you think that what you need is a more instructor-led kind of course or more feedback kind of course where you can learn with us, you need someone to ask questions to who will help you with job assistance and help you build your CVs and different things like that, and basically guide you along the technology, then what I would recommend is come to our website and enroll with us on different courses so that we can help you based on the different requirements that you have, and we can help you learn those different technologies that you really want to learn. So with that, I think we have come to the end of this presentation on our YouTube channel. So we will be moving this thing to a webinar now. So I'll request the person handling the chat right now to put down the webinar links. So you can come down to our webinar and ask questions. So for the people who are on YouTube, thank you so much for watching us today. And the numbers are on your screen. If you have any queries, you can dial us up there, or you can write to us at sales@intellipaat.com. And people who have who want to ask one-on-one doubts, or they have different queries with respect to this session as well, please move on to the webinar and we'll be happy to assist you there. So with that, I will be signing off, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.